Greetings and welcome back to Smartwatch Ticks. We are a YouTube channel on the web at smartwatchticks.com, and we're doing an unboxing today of a very inexpensive GPS band. We're going to kind of dive into the low end of the market price-wise, but feature-rich. Like to you guys that are not yet committed to buying a smartwatch or band, to take the leap. Spend 30 bucks. Jump into something like this. That's right. This is only 30 bucks. Comes to us from Gearbest. Really interesting device here you're about to see. It's got full onboard GPS that will do the GPS tracking, distance calculation, combined in with different events that you do, like cycling or running or even climbing with altitude change, stuff like that. It has all of this good stuff going for it. Running Bluetooth 4.0, tethering to H+, which is a really interesting app on your phone. It's a fully IP68 waterproof, and I don't know if you noticed, but you charge it directly by unplugging one of the bands and plugging it directly into your USB charger, which makes it super convenient, and it's waterproof. Charging time about 1.5 hours, and look at this, standby for 14 days. Really nice. It's got a good color display, and I'm able to read it out in the sun and go into the different modes. I've already tried that out. We'll show you that. It's rectangular, TPU band. This is the weight, sizes, packaging, everything you need to know. So let's take a look. When we open it up, you notice that it does both GPS and GLONASS and BEIDOU. All these are different methods of finding yourself on Earth. So you're not restricted to one or the other. It's got some information here, but we've already looked at that at the specs, and it's kind of covered up by the label. So let's dive into it. Comes in its own little plastic container with a manual and just the band. No charger, no needed, because it charges on its own. Has a little cover on it that tells you there's no buttons on the side, but there's a button below and a button above. And they can toggle you through the menus, and a long press on the bottom button is how you activate. So let's take that off now that you know, and let me show you first of all the two bands. You notice one of them has a little metal pin through it. Don't yank on that one, gang. That's where your GPS module sits. See it right there? GPS, it says. And the other trackers as well. But the other one, oh, I accidentally touched it, and it's turning on. Look how bright that is. The other one, you can grab and pull and take the band off and reveal the charger here. And this is what you plug into USB to give yourself a full charge. Now, it's a sensitive screen. It's jumping all over the place because I'm kind of messing with it. We're going to put that back, look at the band. Yeah, there you go. And look at the manual and give you some guidance on this thing. We'll walk through it. First page shows you the QR code that you can scan to download the H+ app, or just check the show notes here. I'll have a link. You can click on it, go on over there and download it. It has an iOS for you iPhone users and Android QR codes. I'm only going to talk Android as I usually do, but it does have an app that will work with you for your iPhone if you're using that. Some nice color pictures of the different screens that you'll see, and we will walk through that so you can get a closer look on the device itself. Really robust manual. Here are the different modes you go into in sports. Now, 3 of these at least are GPS tracked and the others are not. Walking, surprisingly, is just going to use your pedometer, but running will tie into GPS. When you have these different screens of information that it's going to collect, including, you see this one, which is going to tell you what zone your heart rate is in. Yep, it's monitoring your heart rate at the same time as it's doing all this other stuff. So you're just going to go into sports, you're going to select the sport you want, and you're going to do that event. And when you're done, you're going to stop it, you're going to save it. You don't have to have your phone with you. It saves it all to the device itself, and it's transferred when you sync to the H+ app. Okay? Here's some more screens. Here's all of your different settings you can go through. And some common problems. Tethering is usually the main one. And some other information. Tethering's pretty easy if you take it away from any other Bluetooth device, and make sure you turn off and on your Bluetooth on your phone and get yourself all set up for that. Here is the actual H Plus app that you'll be able to download directly from the Google Play Store. We'll look at that after we run through the band itself. Now, I have it off of my wrists to walk through, but we'll talk about that when we actually hook it up and go into some of the details here. It's upside down. There you go. The one with the buckle toward the top, that is the charging end, not the GPS end, is the top side. So you tap a button, it goes out relatively quickly. It jumps when I'm touching it. It is a sensitive screen. So let's walk through these. That's your... Stop already. You know what? It'd probably be better if I actually have it on my arm. It seems to have a capacitive thing going where it's better if it's stable and hooked up like that. Now let's start it over again. We have a time display. We actually have 3 of these. You have a little analog display. You notice I'm holding the bottom one. You have one that's green and white. And the one that I prefer, because it's kind of high contrast and easier to read, is here. And you've got the date and your battery level. You touch it again, and now you've got your distance traveled, your total number of steps, and your calories burned. And then the next screen takes you to heart rate. And you see how it's a chart down here? Now, it's not calibrated. I don't have numbers by it. It's getting my heart rate right now as we speak. But it does show you my last night's sleep time. I get too close to it, and it takes my finger. There. My last night's sleep time is this lower part. Then I got up, went to the bathroom, went back to bed. Then I got up, took a shower, took it off. It's like every 10 minutes or so, it's taking a heart rate reading, and then it's making a mark on the chart. And this is 16 hours worth. So I really gave this thing a workout, put it on yesterday so that we could actually see that chart and see it change. Here's when I did some exercising outside, took it off again, put it back on, and so forth. The sports section we'll come back to. Settings we'll go into. Why not? Get that over with. Here's your on-off. You can toggle now through the different screens here. Wow, it's so fast. Here's information. There's your reset the whole thing. Here is turning on the GPS if you want to manually turn it on. And auto brightness on and off. And vibration on and off. And actually, I have the vibration off right now, so I'm going to press and hold. He says, let's get over to vibration. There, press and hold. It's off. I'm going to turn it on and press and hold. There, I just heard it vibrate, or felt it vibrate. Now vibration mode is on. Yep, every time I'm touching it, it's vibrating. Same thing with the auto brightness and your GPS, although GPS will go on automatically when you're in the sport mode. Your information is important because you're going to want to look for the word sport, and then that number, whatever it is on your watch. I don't know if it's the same on all of them. But that's what you're going to tether to. That's the name of the device for tethering purposes. And that's all I've got there. I guess I'll just wait for it to time out to get back. Okay, that got us back. Okay, so that's information and power off right there. You just press and hold. And when you get that, you press, and that takes you back up to the top level. You can receive notices pushed from your phone there, and then you're back to the time screen itself, of which we saw we can toggle through all 3 of them. All right, the one thing remaining is this sports section, that when you press and hold, you get into these. Now notice here's walking, but check it out. When I get into running, you see he's holding the little dish. That's your GPS. Climbing has GPS, so does cycling. Then you get into these other sports and they do not. Well, there's only one. And that's just pretty much going to calculate your calories burned against time. The walking, when you get into here, is going to calculate your heart rate and your step count. And it's going to compute your distance based on steps, calories burned, the typical way that these things do with pedometers. But you will get the percentage time you're spending in each of your heart zones as you're doing a fast walk. On any of these screens, you can press and hold to get out of it. You can save it, or you can throw it away, or you can resume, and I'll just throw that one away because we didn't do anything. Okay? But the fun comes now when we get into something like running. Press and hold, and now it's going to look for GPS. And here, I'm going to switch over to the app because I want to talk about that. This is the intro to the app, the H Plus app. If I say open, it's going to launch it. You can actually set up an account. You can go in here to tether to the device. It's tethered, it's now syncing, and it's got a lot of information to it. Now, we've reviewed the H Plus app before, so I'm just going to go quickly through some of the stuff. In this device mode here, you can set up it just vibrated, which means it locked into GPS, folks. For a $30 watch is locked into GPS indoors. Okay, I'm not moving, so it's not giving me anything. But some of those $150 Android smartwatches won't acquire GPS indoors. I got some things to show you about testing the GPS on this, and I'm very pleased with it. Alarm clocks, reminders. This is fun. The screen save time. I'm going to increase that to 30. When you actually turn the thing on then and you have it high like that, the screen shouldn't flip out so darn quickly. Of course, it's going to eat into your battery, but this is a great little device that has a long battery life anyway. So if you're going to charge it every couple of days, you may want to just go ahead and have it set for that long screen time so that when you turn it on, it's going to stay on, for goodness sakes. And you can actually look at your data. There, you see I got the GPS, 1 bar, true. I guess when you're in these modes, it's still going to go off quickly. There's my heart rate coming in. There's kilometers and speed in kilometers per hour. One drawback is even though you have the option to set units as imperial or metric here, you can't change the sporting stuff. It's all going to be metric. So all this stuff is going to be the same. So I'm going to bail out of here. Again, just throw this one away because it's not a record I want to sync. And when you get back through here to there, you return back to the main watch itself. And again, we cycle through and you're back to the time. But we're back to the app. So sync data is where you transfer all the stuff you've done throughout the day or the week or whatever you saved on here gets transferred over when you sync data. You can unbind and rebind the bracelet, clear the data in the bracelet, and clear the data in the app. And of course, check for firmware updates, all here in the connected device mode. The mine is where you set up your goal and your own stuff. The body mass index is coming from the calculation of I wish. I'm okay with that. That's pretty decent. That's a nice weight. I love 29. Yeah. That's the default. Comes with it. Says the body mass index is that. And it's calculated the burning heart rate based on that information that's going to be used in those charts that you saw there. So it's pretty nice the way this app works. It's very sophisticated. All that comes from there. So we've got that, we've got that. The overall calendar just shows you that you've had activities on what particular day. Today's the 14th. Home is here. Going to come to the activity last. This is a scrolling thing. So it shows you my steps and when they happen today. And if I go into it, you have a smaller chart and it's showing your active minutes, calories, total steps, and so forth. A little bit of a summary that you can then page through day by day. There's some yesterday, and I don't have any earlier data than those 2 days so far, but you got that there. Then when you slide here, you have last night's sleep time. A little bit bright on the screen. Let me turn that down so you get more color representation. There you go. I know, that's called display brightness. It's a special app. 5 hours, 56 minutes, broken up into these times. Then you see it on a chart. You can go into here, see the chart a little bit bigger with more detailed breakdown, short, long, short for my sleep. And of course, you can check day after day after day in there. And that's all your sleep time. One more slide gets you into your continuous heart rate, folks. If you've got this on and you set that up in the settings to do continuous heart rate, it will. Here we are. I'm going to touch it to get into the chart where you see the minimum, average, and maximum for the measurements so far. That little gap is when I took the watch off earlier today, so there were no readings at all. So it's not calculating erroneous data to average in with everything. It's just throwing out when there's not a reading. There's yesterday. So I had it on yesterday, all last night till midnight, and then from midnight on for today. And if I keep doing it day to day to day, you'll just have a continuous run of your heart rate. Why is that important? Oh, it could be lots of reasons, but one health issue that comes up sometimes is if you have a sudden excessive heart rate in the middle of the night. And if you see that, a spike like that, which has happened during the day while I was exercising, if you see that during the middle of the night, might be something you want to have checked out. Just a little red flag for you to think about. Otherwise, you can get an idea of your resting heart rate. Not a lot of graphic detail, but it does tell you average is 80 right here. And it's showing you there I'm below 80 and there I'm above 80. There's 120, is that? 150? I don't know. I can't read it. Maybe you can. Anyway, that gives you an idea, but it's not really fine detail on either of those charts. Then it gets fun. Watch this. I'm going to slide over. Hello? Oh, I just did an update and they fixed this. Used to be I could slide over and it would show me the edge of blood pressure and ECG and stuff like that this app will handle. But you couldn't get it to go there and there was no data. But they fixed it now so you don't even have those pages. It can tell what band you've got and whether it has those features. The app is sophisticated enough and it works with other devices that have more capabilities. But folks, this is $30 and it's got GPS. So you're limited basically to heart rate, last night's sleep time, basic step count, and then the GPS activities that we just showed you. Now let me switch over to the activity tab and I'm going to show you some stuff there. And here we are. I got like 4 activities in here. A couple of them it didn't render the actual tracking graph, so it's just using a holding place, but the other 2 do have the graphs there, and I'm not disclosing where I am and where I live and the directions right to my house, which I have with my tracking, so I'm just showing you this main page to lead you into what you're going to get into. You can define whichever GPS tracking thing you're using. Here was hiking, and when I looked at it on the band, I was able to see my exact height in meters above sea level. And as I was moving, that was decreasing because I was going downhill. And it also showed a decrease in meters per second type of a thing. I happened to be driving or riding in the car when I was doing that, as opposed to biking or walking, but it has all of that data there. You get these kind of pieces of information below it. You have the same kind of capabilities for running. And again, you're getting mileage, duration, energy, and total steps. But in this one, on the band itself, you're also getting altitude information, and here you're getting more like speed and stuff like that. Then you also have, in addition to these, you have cycling. I think those are the main 3. So let me take you into the chart here that I can zoom in and represent to show you a couple of interesting characteristics of this particular app with this particular band. Okay, here I am in a store at a shopping center. I started it at the back of the store. I wanted to see, is it going to track GPS inside the store? It's a 1-story grocery store. Once it acquired, yeah, it did pretty good. Now, its update time is every few seconds. I'm not sure, 5, 10 maybe. I got a point there, got a point there, went out to the door, got a point there, and so forth. And then it's going all around the rest of the shopping center. You'll see another building over here in a minute. And all the way around and then back here to where I ended. So the starting point, a lot of looping and back. It's showing that I've got good acquisition of GPS and also that it's pretty good on location. It's showing you I'm going right along the parking stalls and stuff. The car was parked right over here next to the the grid line stuff as rendered in this map. So getting a good representation of accuracy of position as well as acquisition and maintenance of GPS with obstacles. I love it when it rolls off my tongue like that. I go, who said that? That sounded really good. Yes. Sorry, guys. Here's another one. Let's see. Subway, Safeway. This is, again, in the parking lot. Can you see the representation of the building? It's kind of beige right here. And can you see the line is going along the eave, right where the building hangs over? This is within 1 to 2 feet. Now, sure, it's only 2 data points, and it's only picking up data points every few seconds, which is fine, you know, for overall tracking. I'm not tracking a missile here, but it is accurate. I mean, it's super accurate. It has me walking outside Safeway, which is exactly what I was doing. That's what I wanted to point out. Here's another one. I'm inside of a department store, and I'm walking around just for testing this. So I came in the door. I got the door point. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, probably 5, 6 data points in maybe 2 minutes, and then I'm walking elsewhere. But it is tracking me throughout the shopping center. And I think that's it for there. Then I wanted to show you some bizarre activity here. This is zoomed way in. If I zoom way out, I have one line, and it's showing me my path, except in a few places the line gets thick. And when I zoom in on it, I have, like, it splits, and I have 2 lines between these points. Sometimes I have 3 or 4. Here's a little stream with a path crossing it. And now I'm getting some strange accuracy because it's got me going. I guess this is like that quantum stuff, right? Which path am I taking? Who knows, really? But it's giving me multiple lines. Now, I didn't go back and forth. I only went from one direction to the other. But it started splitting the path information. Now, my estimation is that it's not getting full accuracy, or the margin of error circle is large. And so instead of just rendering it funky, it maybe is giving me all the possible choices that it could be, of which maybe that one in the middle is the accurate one, but the other ones are what it was picking up somehow from the GPS. But it is something different I've never seen on a GPS track before. This is a standard Google map. This is the standard app that renders usually one single line. But you're getting some multiple line noise in here. And actually, that may be a good thing if it is telling you that GPS, for whatever reason, wasn't fully accurate during that segment. It started from a single point, it spread out, and further down it coalesced, went back down into one single point. And that was fine, you know, and it's one single line after that. It's just a couple of strange places on the chart that it did this. Okay. So that's the app. This is the band. It's comfortable. It's a little bit thick, but it is a fitness band. GPS module is inside of here. And the last test that I did, I took this thing off, and I got it all started in cycling. I usually like to drive around in cycling. That's the top. I got to remember that. Here you go. And when I drove around in cycling, I tossed it in the trunk of the car, and I drove a long way home. And I popped it out of the trunk, turned it off, synced it up here, and guess what? Absolute perfect. It transmits through the solid metal trunk of my car, solid GPS signal, and just worked great. So you literally could just, for $30, you could use this as a tracking device for your vehicle. You know how some people have those fancy, expensive things that are built into the car in case it's stolen, the hijacked stuff? You know, obviously, you can't interrogate the car and turn the engine off if the car is missing and have some company activate that. But you can actually toss it in your car and find out wherever your car went, huh? Hear that, parents with teenagers? No, you wouldn't do that. You could toss it in your purse if you're a lady, and in case your purse got stolen, if you get it back, you'd have the directions of everywhere the purse went. And it seems to have pretty doggone good battery life to it, too. Now, I don't know if you put it in a GPS mode, like cycling, let's say, and turn on GPS and just let it run. I don't know yet how long that would be before the battery would run out. I'm going to test that, and I'll either put it at the end of this video, which is coming up real quick, or if I don't get it done before I publish, I'll have it in the show notes, how long it lasts in just pure GPS mode. The screen will be off, but it'll, of course, be accumulating data during that time. Which is pretty cool. Another thing you could also think about if you need longer life is get one of those power brick things. Because it's a standard USB, just plug that into the power brick and give it continuous charge. Put it into your GPS mode. Again, you go into sport. Well, there, press and hold. Pick one, like I like cycling. Press and hold, and now it's going. It'll acquire GPS. When it gets it, it starts automatically, and now it's running. And it'll turn its screen off. And now the diode's going to try to get heart rate, of course, but if you're not connected to your arm or something, it'll just sit there, either all by itself or plugged into a power brick, and you could get a whole day's worth of everywhere you went. So if you're a delivery person or postal deliverer or just a teenager running around meeting people and wanting to remember where you went, I don't know, whatever your thing is, you can actually do GPS tracking with this tiny little band, all independent, because the module built into it, 3 different types of tracking services with that node are available to you, and all for the price of about $30. So I recommend this one. I'm impressed overall with the strength of the GPS, the quality of the signal, the accuracy of the results. There I go again. It's good. It's a good one. Check the show notes for the buying information for picking this up directly from Gearbest. And thanks to Gearbest, been a while since we've heard from you. Thanks for sending this puppy out for us to take a look at. When I first saw it, I went, nah, for $30, GPS, nah. But it really is, and it really works. Well, thanks for your subscription and your thumbs up on these videos, and we'll see you again soon.